reproducible, that can be conceived, implemented, and evaluated in a relatively short period of time. So we're going to be talking about student A and our student X and student Y. These are two students, and I would encourage you to identify two students in the same grade level receiving this similar instruction, but of two different performance levels. And this will help you, because when you do these interventions, instructional interventions, and you look at performance, you'll have the opportunity to compare and contrast. If you get two students that are perform almost identically, then the contrast will be different. Your learning as a beginning teacher will be restricted in some ways. So there's some basic information that I'm going to ask you to investigate, and it has to do with age, grade level, discipline, number of students in his or her class, just more or less a profile of the student. On page 2 here, an explanation of student X's learning. Now, there are 4 areas here, A, B, C, and D, and it says click to explain. Of course, that's for the template, but in essence, it asks you to identify why you chose the students, how you will, a lot of this has to be in future tense, how you will address the instruction, what do you plan to do, the content area, whether it's going to be math or reading or science or language arts, social studies, so forth. You will then develop maybe a timeline. Let's say you're going to do this investigation over the course of a month, just for example. You want to select pieces of student work on a timeline to show, hopefully, some progress that they're making over time. Now, there's kind of an honor system here. You shouldn't do anything extraordinary to these students that you don't offer to the other students. But what you're trying to do is say, this is where they are initially, and then possibly, if you're doing it over a course of a month, one sample a week that shows hopefully progress as a result of your instructional intervention. So that's the purpose for the samples of the student work. You have a page on resources. This is sort of self-explanatory if you have any questions about that. Now, the proposal, I'm not asking you to complete all of this. I'm asking you to share what you will do, and then you and I will have sort of a discussion online in Blackboard as to whether this is appropriate for this assignment or not. The same issues arise for student Y, student sample, and so forth. At the end of this experience, you're going to take your plan, your student profile, samples of their work over the course of time. You're going to describe your interventions for both students. Let's say you do tailor some instruction for the group that student X is in, and tailor and maybe tweak it a little bit because of special needs for student Y's group. You're going to describe that, and then you're going to look at the outcomes. So that's the process. Can I modify the environment? Can I modify the instruction? Do I know the students well enough that I can make these changes and the outcomes positive? So that's what your task is. I know it's challenging. We have a course here at Eastern in the master's program called Teacher as Researcher, where we go into a little more depth. And that course, even though it's not part of the alternative licensure, I hope that if you continue to pursue a master's degree at Eastern, that you take that course right away, because it refines this process that you and I are going through in the dossier. Like I said, let's review just for a second. The dossier is to address the principles that are behind, or competencies behind Strand B that's available to you. I won't go through them again. You are to take at least 2 students, although some of the discussion in, sorry about the focus, it's an autofocus camera. Some discussion on the PED website refers to 3 to 4 students. I'm only asking you to do 2 students, student X and student Y. Please maintain confidentiality. I think that's very important. The student, since technically, since this is part of what teachers do all the time, really don't have to know that they're part of the study. If you have any questions about process or privacy, you might want to consult with your principal. Tell them that this is a required assignment and it is in preparation for that transition that I know that you're going to be making eventually from a Tier 1 to Tier 2. And then the proposal, 3 to 4 pages, answering some of the questions that I posed in this video discussion, and send it to me by midnight on February the 24th. So I hope that helps. I think I told some of you that if their questions persist on this, it may be worth our while to get together as a group, face-to-face, or at least by Skype, and have a discussion, because this is an important part of the class. This will be inserted, even though this is a separate assignment, this will be part of your e-folio that you'll be turning in April. So thank you for your time. I hope it's helpful. Please email me in Blackboard if you have other questions, and I look forward to your plan of action. You'll be identifying students, you'll be identifying content areas, you'll be identifying likely, since you're all different grades and working in different districts, you're going to be, everybody's dossier is going to look different. And that's the way it should be, and that's what I would expect, since this is about your own class and not about someone else's class. So thank you very much, and I look forward to any feedback or questions that you might have. Have a good weekend and a good President's Day. Bye.